Why modern action movies suck. Here's the thing. Action movies didn't get worse because the technology got better. They got worse because the technology made them way too easy to fake. There is a massive disconnect between spectacle and stakes. Everyone thinks that bigger is better. They think that if a car chase was cool in 1990, a spaceship chase through a collapsing dimension must be 10 times cooler. But Hollywood has ignored a fundamental law of human psychology, the visceral threshold. Our brains are wired to react to things that look like they have weight, friction, and consequence. When a stuntman jumped between two moving trucks in the 80s, your pupils dilated because your subconscious knew that if he missed, he died. Today, the average moviegoer is suffering from visual inflation. Just like printing too much money devalues a currency, rendering too many pixels devalues the action. If a character can fall from a terminal height, bounce off a concrete sidewalk, and stand up with a witty quip, the action has no value. Most people view a movie ticket as a portal into a high-stakes world, but modern superhero cinema has turned that portal into a safety-padded playroom. If an action sequence is grounded in reality, the subconscious brain thinks, "That looks dangerous, I should pay attention." If the sequence is 100% digital, the brain thinks, "That's a cartoon, I can look at my phone." It is the same psychology behind professional wrestling versus a real fight. You can appreciate the choreography of the show, but you only hold your breath when you think someone might actually get hurt. This leads to a phenomenon I call the physics void. In the classic era of action, directors like John McTiernan or James Cameron understood that action is about geography. You need to know where the hero is, where the villain is, and what the physical obstacle is between them. Today, action is a chaotic blur of the impossible camera. Because the camera is virtual, it flies through keyholes, spins 360 degrees around characters, and teleports through explosions. By removing the limitations of a physical camera, they removed the viewer's sense of orientation. You aren't moving with the hero, you're being tossed around inside a washing machine of light and sound. There is also a war happening behind the scenes that the marketing budget tries to hide. In the gold standard era of action, the action unit and the director were often the same vision. Today, a superhero movie is managed by the Committee of Continuity. The director of the movie often has zero input on the biggest action set pieces. In fact, many indie directors are hired specifically because they don't know how to film action. The studio tells them, "You handle the talking scenes in the kitchen, and our pre-visualization team in London will build the $3 million fight scene on a computer 6 months before you even start filming." The action isn't an expression of the story, it's a pre-packaged asset dropped into the timeline like a commercial break. They use the asset reuse strategy to keep costs down. If they already have the digital model for a crumbling bridge from a movie they made 3 years ago, they will write a scene on a crumbling bridge for the new movie. They aren't choosing the action because it's the best way to end the character's arc, they are choosing it because the digital inventory says it's efficient. They aren't making art, they are managing a supply chain. It has gotten so bad that we now have the kinetic lie. You know exactly what this is. It's the shaky cam and the 1-second cut. If the CGI looks a bit weightless or the choreography is sloppy, the editor just shakes the frame and cuts the film every 1.5 seconds. They are trying to trick your brain into thinking there is energy when there is actually just confusion. They are treating your nervous system like an overclocked processor that they can short-circuit with enough rapid-fire stimulus. This has birthed a secondary problem, the weightless hero. In a classic action movie, the hero's greatest asset was their vulnerability. Think of John McClane with glass in his feet, or Indiana Jones getting dragged behind a truck. You cheered for them because they were losing. But the modern superhero is a post-human asset. They don't bleed, they just get scuffs on their armor. They don't get tired, they just wait for their power bar to recharge. When the hero is invincible, the action becomes a chore. It's not a struggle for survival, it's a scheduled appointment for a victory.
The unstoppable force meets the immovable object used to be a metaphor for a great conflict. Now it's just a description of two digital character models clipping through each other's textures. This is why John Wick or Top Gun Maverick felt like such a shock to the system. It wasn't because they were reinventing the wheel, it was because they remembered that wheels are made of rubber and they burn when they hit the asphalt. They brought back the physical tax, the idea that every cool moment on screen should cost the characters and the production something in the real world.